Hey everybody, this is Perch. It's a kind of a silly superstition of mine. A superstition's too strong a word, but whenever I used to travel or go on vacation or leave for work or wherever else, just leave home for a while. The first thing I engaged with when I got back would kind of set the tone for the next several months in my mind. Now this wasn't true. It was I don't know why I got onto this, but that was just kind of where it is. So it's almost humorous to me. I'd show up and there'd be an ad in the airport for who knows what, but that would be kind of what I would see is coming in the next several months. So as I'm landing and we get the network on and we're going to be taxiing for a while because it's despite planes flying in and out of this place and nothing else. The plane's in the runway in the wrong spot, and they've got to move it out of the way to get 8 other planes by. If you've ever been on an airplane where this is going on, you lose your mind, or at least I do very quickly. Like, just what? Why is this happening? So I open up Twitter, which is a mistake, but I'm like, okay, let me just see what people are talking about. I haven't really checked it in several days, and lo and behold, what is the first thing I see? But somebody has retweeted Eric Larson from I guess a couple days ago, talking about, or basically he's sharing that picture from Batgirl of the bathroom with the bathtub in front of the door, which I suspect most of you have seen. I'll put it up on the screen now if you haven't. I looked at it and thought, did I travel back in time? Like, wasn't this a big debate topic 2 years ago at least? It's been a while since people talked about this, but apparently we're back talking about this, and Eric Larson, of all people's like, what the hell is this? It's like, oh, honey child, where have you been for the last 2 years? Like, I don't know. I believe this was, I think this was from the Batgirl of Burnside run quite a while ago, like back in the New 52. Like, this is several years old, and then somebody came across it as a ludicrous panel, and they shared it, and then that made the rounds of comic standards are falling, the world is coming apart, and then everybody bitched about it. And then for a while, everybody bitched about the people bitching about it, because complaining about a door in front of a bathtub is evidence you're in a hate group. And they kind of got quiet for a while, but every now and then this thing gets shared. It's kind of like, to me, when I see the bathtub image show up now, I always think, here's somebody who is desperate to get like a couple hundred likes or retweets, or that's basically all it is, because it's been shared so much. It's guaranteed bait. It's like the people who post Batman used his wealth to solve crime in Gotham using social means rather than dressing up like a bat. That would be more effective. It's that take. It's the Peter Parker's a school shooter take. It's the one that, you roll it out, people have heard it a dozen times before, but it generates attention. It generates like, yay! Another classic one in that is the comics have always been political. And then you use like the uppercase and the lowercase up and down. Or alternatively, leave my politics out of comics. And they show that picture of Captain America punching Hitler. And it's like, you've seen this a lot. And I'm always surprised in general about, this is the kind of the depressing aspect of my view of humanity. It's I don't understand how people can continually share this stuff, like it, and be entertained each and every time. Like, I have a really low tolerance for seeing the same joke over and over and over again. I can't stand sitcoms because they roll out the same stuff again and again. There's a few movies I've watched more than once, but not many. I typically watch them once. And then movies I really love, I may watch a few times, but I've got no tolerance for like seeing the same crap over and over. It doesn't make me angry. It just makes me completely tune out fast. I suspect many of you are the same. What you're doing on this channel, I have no idea then. But anyway, so this isn't a video about social media. To the contrary, it's more about like, why are we still asking questions about this bathroom and this bathtub in front of the door? Because to me, there's a really, really obvious answer. And if you just use a process of elimination, and if you just, let go of whatever, crazy, you know, panting fool you heard on YouTube, no, not me, who wanted to call this panel an example of kind of the SJW takeover of America. It's simple. The artist was screwing around. It is that simple. The artist is drawing a picture of a bathroom. The artist, as they're putting in the detail with the wall and other stuff, they decided, screw it, I'll put a door here. My suspicion, if you look really closely at the image, is that they're trying to make some vertical lines to showcase kind of panels in a wall, like the just panels, vertically on the wall. And then at some point, either the artist or the inker, there's a possibility it could be either, decided to throw a little lock on there. Because if you look at it, it's like there's a lock and kind of a couple hinges that look kind of added almost, just kind of in the, on the side. And my feeling is they're putting these lines in there. Guys like, screw it, let's see if anybody notices this. And that's what happened. I'd love to interview the guy who drew this, or at least reach out and find out the true answer. But that's what I believe happened. And I believe that happened because, first, it's the simplest, most obvious answer. It doesn't require you to suspend all disbelief that people don't know how to draw doors. The picture in general looks heavily not traced. I'm pretty convinced there's a photo reference for that bathroom, and the person's screwing around. It's been very common for I don't know, a long time in comics to put Easter eggs or hidden things or kind of silly nonsense into panels to see if the reader would notice. If you were a kid, they used to put them in magazines, like, what's wrong with this picture? And they'd have like a door was upside down or something, and you'd have to kind of spot it. That's what's going on here. I've seen the theories of this is an artist that doesn't know what they're doing, but the artist clearly knows a little bit what they're doing. You look at the figure, you look at the other panels, you look at kind of what's being drawn. This mistake is not like somebody doesn't know basic anatomy, or somebody struggles with drawing feet, or somebody struggles with one problem that seems to exist for a lot of comic artists is characters who run. They struggle with movement. They struggle with showing kind of that character running. It's like if you look at a lot of comics now, you'll see characters flying, you'll see characters standing, you'll see characters doing all kinds of things, but you don't see a lot of characters running. I mean, the Flash not accepting, but this is pretty common. So, are we meant to believe that this artist is so bad, and yet also good enough to draw anatomy, draw the character swinging around, draw capes, draw draw buildings, draw everything else, but they do not know how to draw a door next to a bathtub? That is the part of art class 101. They missed that day. They were sick that day. They just didn't get the lesson on how to draw a door. I don't think so. That was the artist screwing around. Now, from that, you can say, well, this is still an example of the failing, falling, screwed up comic book industry, because the editor should have caught that. And I would say, sure, but again, this isn't a new phenomenon. It's been very common for the artists to draw in random shit into the comic as a hidden little nod to people who are looking closely. Should the editor have caught all of those things as well? Is the door somehow more egregious than those other items? I mean, maybe. For what it's worth, like Jack Kirby used to do that kind of stuff. Kirby. I don't know if you recognize that name, but this is what's going on. So you come back to the social media aspect of it. You come back to Eric Larson, like, what is this? I have no idea what was going through his head when he did that. I noticed that Mark Brooks weighed in, and he's like, I would wear this panel as a badge of honor. I don't quite get that take, unless is Mark seemed to be kind of suggesting that yeah, the artist did this on purpose to kind of screw around or do something funny. And it's and it got printed in the comic book, and they should be proud of the joke being pulled off. If that was his take, okay, sure. I mean, fine. If his take was I was going too fast and I just messed this up, again, you talk to any real artist. That's not how it's done. That's not how you don't whip through it so quickly. It became again 2 years ago, which is why it keeps showing up now. I have no idea, but anyway, so I saw somebody as I was looking at this, and I was looking for the art. I search on kind of door in front of bathtub, and I see that people are making YouTube videos of this today, like I am, in fairness, but they're making YouTube videos talking about how this is an example of of woke, and it's like woke BC puts door in front of bathtub, and it's like, okay, so first of all, it's happened years ago, and I'm missing where's the woke part? Is the door bisexual? What's going on? What what's the door? Was the door chosen over other doors because of the paint color of the door? Like, what are you? What is even your point here? No, this is an artist screwing around, and quite frankly, so much gets easier in comics if you look for the Occam's razor reason for a lot of this stuff, which is it's the easiest possible answer. The easiest possible answer is the artist was doing a joke for themselves. Was it funny? Apparently not. But that was as they say, that's the joke, and that there you go. I think there's plenty of examples of problems in the industry. I think there's plenty of examples of nepotism, of people who are hired who are not capable of doing the job they're doing, people who are saying things they shouldn't say, complaining or exposing the business in various aspects. I think there's lots of examples of that in comics. I think that people are so anxious to be part of that conversation that they throw in anything they can find, and sometimes that includes a door in front of a bathtub. And but to me, the image kind of speaks to the ridiculousness, not necessarily of comics, because again, there's been these kinds of hidden art things for a long time. To me, it speaks to the ridiculousness of the conversation. And no, this isn't bagging on the fans either, because as I mentioned, the comic creators are now are now dealing with this. Comic creators are. So why? You can't blame the angry, toxic fans anymore when the comic artists and creators themselves, big names who happily engage in the culture war, are also engaging with this image. It's all of you at this point, and I think it speaks to the silliness of comics in general. If you want to take it one step further, it's hey, there's actually some really cool art in comics right now. You know, the White Knight 3 coming out from friend of the show Sean Murphy looks amazing. There's some really cool art out there. It's not like the art is all gone and all we've got are doors in front of bathtubs. It's that it's more interesting for whatever crazy ass reason to talk about doors in front of bathtubs than actual good stuff that is being printed. I don't know. Welcome back to the U.S. Thanks for listening.